Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 18th of July, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar index. The dollar actually pushing quite a bit higher yesterday, taking us to a high of at least a couple of weeks. And we're seeing now we're nudging these June highs, so it looks like the dollar will push higher. Testing resistance on the long-term cloud on the price on the weekly chart, but looking pretty bullish all around. So dollar strength is really a theme here. Looking at the euro, of course, sinking lower on that dollar strength, so euro looking weaker. And against the Japanese yen, the dollar looking stronger still and making a long-term transition to bullish. So this is the real driver. Dollar yen is pushing much higher. Sterling falling lower against that stronger dollar, nudging the 130 mark. So sterling now looking like it will make probably 12-month lows quite soon. So that's pretty bearish for sterling, and we got targets to 129 below where we are now. Looking at sterling against the euro, weaker here as well. Still bullish on all three time frames, and against the Swiss franc, sterling also looking bullish on the short and medium term time frames. Against the Aussie dollar, sitting at 177.92, fairly flat. So Aussie dollar falling in line with sterling. Bitcoin up quite sharply again yesterday, hitting these targets. We've got these upside targets, 7,200, which were given and met. We've got now targets 20% higher to 8,900. So the long and medium term charts are suggesting a recovery on the point and figure charts. We've still got work to do, of course, on the medium and long term Ichimoku charts. So quite a tough call. Looking at the US stock market, S&P 500 index was up about 0.4%, so looking stronger here. The Nasdaq was up also quite strongly, up 0.62% yesterday, so pushing to new highs there as well. And the Dow also pushing higher as well, so that's looking better. So US markets generally looking quite a bit stronger, and also the broad-based Russell index up 0.5%. The futures this morning, the S&P future is up very slightly, up 0.1%, and the Nasdaq E-mini flat at 0.05%. So a bit hard to say which way the markets are going to open this morning. UK market is up about 0.4%, driven by gains overnight in the US and Asia. The 250 mid-caps index looking much stronger this morning, up 0.4% as well. The DAX in Germany also pushing higher, up 0.75% on rises in the US and Asia overnight, and the CAC Quarante pushing higher still, up 0.6%, still looking one of the strongest European markets. Tokyo was only up 1/3%, but still rising on that weaker yen. We saw the Hang Seng down 0.25%. Hong Kong and Chinese markets still worrying, and the Shanghai index down 0.4%. So we still see worries on the Chinese index. The Sensex was down 0.2%, but bullish on all three time frames. And the Australian market was down up 2/3%, so looking better. Brent crude continued to fall, it's flatlining last day or so, but looking still pretty bearish on that short-term chart, and prices through the cloud on the medium-term chart. Looks like the second half fall that we normally see after the summer driving season is starting to kick in for crude, so looking to go lower. We do have one downside target of $62 on the long-term chart, but really there's an absence of other targets, so it's a bit hard to say at this stage. WTI similarly lower below the cloud, not quite on the medium-term cloud, unlike Brent, and again a shortage of downside targets. We do have a downside target on the short-term target of $66, so we're sitting at $67.50, so there's a bit further to fall. US nat gas sitting at $2.74, just really struggling here again, and the medium-term chart starting to look a little bit more bearish. If we take a look at gold fell quite sharply yesterday on the stronger dollar, taking us into bearish territory now on all three time frames. So we still do have these upside targets dominating on gold, but the trend does seem to be changing, so that is a little bit of a concern here for the price. We had downside targets of 12.18, 12.20. We're nearly at those levels, so those are nearly being met. 11.61 is the next big medium-term target, but as I say, we've still got a lot of upside targets dominating, so it'll be interesting to see whether gold can recover. Silver also fell off quite heavily yesterday, Federal Reserve Chairman's comments also didn't help there. Stronger dollar, weaker sterling, precious metals falling away there. And if we look at US 10-year yields sitting at 2.86%, taking a look at the charts for the tech majors, we've got Apple pushed higher up another 0.3%, so still looking strong on all three time frames. Amazon, which has been the star performer, of course, over the last year or so, up 1.2%, so looking very strong there. Got another upside targets of 6%, 2% higher on the short term. Google also looking higher, pushing higher, up 1.3%, so looking stronger than it has for a while and making new all-time highs. So Google now looking very strong indeed. And Facebook up another $5 to 209, sorry, up $2.76, so looking very strong there. And Microsoft also pushing higher, sitting at that 105.95 level, so well through the $100 mark and holding it. And last of all, Netflix was in the news after disappointing subscriber numbers, taking the short-term chart bearish, but finding support right on the cloud for the medium term. So medium and long term, this may be just a blip for Netflix. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.